when you struggle with woodland photography and you ask some more experienced woodland photographers, I'm 100% sure you get at least once the tip to try to bring order into the chaos. But to be honest, this is exactly that tip that will keep you away from getting out a really strong photograph. So my approach looks a little bit different, but I would say let's try to take this photograph first and let's talk later a little bit more about that. Hi my friends, a very good morning. It's a fantastic autumn morning this morning, and when you look over there, look what the sky is doing back there. It is amazing. But I'm not going to photograph the sky today. I'm going to photograph a nice, or really a fantastic autumn woodland scene, what I found already, I think 2 weeks ago or something like that. And I was just out with my wife for a walk, and yeah, the thing is, the autumn colors were not far enough at that time. And fingers crossed that they are today. And the most difficult thing at a morning like that is, look back there, you have so fantastic fog over there. There are so many possibilities for composition. But anyway, I think it's possible to get photographs there also another day. But the timing for the autumn leaves back there, yeah, I think it's just today, maybe tomorrow even. But I think then it will be over or something like that. So it's really better to take the priority with that one shot and not to take one photograph after the other here at this place. It's always so difficult. What an enchanting place. It is absolutely amazing. I'm currently standing here in this brook bed. It's a dried brook bed. It's a special brook, by the way. It has just water when it rained before, also in spring when the snow got melted. But currently it is dried out, and everything is mossy down here at the ground, and this looks really fantastic, and it gives us an amazing contrast to this fantastic autumn tree back there with all the autumn colors, oranges, reds, in contrast to green, what's a complementary color, and this works really fantastically, especially in an autumn photograph. And the thing is, when you struggle with woodland photography and you ask some more experienced woodland photographers, I'm 100% sure you get at least once the tip to try to bring order into the chaos. But to be honest, this is exactly that tip that will keep you away from getting out a really strong photograph. So my approach looks a little bit different, but I would say let's try to take this photograph first and let's talk later a little bit more about that. So I'm back there with my camera setup, so let's go back there. And I have my long lens on, 70 to 200 millimeters, and I use my circular polarizer to get out all these colors of the green and also of the oranges and reds up at the foliage. And I tried to bring some boulders into my frame to anchor the image, to lead back there. I have these true fern trees at the right hand side, and I have this fantastic tree back there but leans a little bit to the right as my main character of this composition, as my subject if you want. I'm really happy with this one, and I would say let's make the click. So I built up one more composition from that same position here, of that same tree back there, because it's really fantastic. And what I've done now is I just tried to bring order into the chaos. I didn't think about other things, the really important things. I thought about that. And I will take the photograph right now and I would say, let's go to my office then, let's compare them, let's talk about my approach, how to get out a fantastic photograph in Woodland. I found one more composition. I think I will take this one as well before we go back, and then we will talk about how my approach of woodland photography looks like. It's such a fantastic scene. I really like it. I had to stop here. It is so fantastic. I found this tree back there with these oranges and yellows up there. It looks really fantastic. And I'm also really happy about these ferns here in the foreground. They are a little bit yellow already and a little bit orange, and this really adds to this composition. And what I did is I did the same as before. My first approach was not to bring order into the chaos, or trying to bring order into the chaos. I mean, finally, we always get a little bit of order into the chaos when we photograph woodland, and it gets out a really great photograph. But it is not my approach. I look for different things. We will talk about later a little bit. But yeah, first of all, I use these ferns here in the foreground. I like this here at the right hand side, what really holds you in the frame, it really anchors a little bit. And also the left and bottom side is also a nice anchor. And yeah, I mean, this tree back there with the polarizer, I really get the colors to pop out, and it's a really enchanting autumn scene. And I would say, let's make the click and let's go to the office and let's talk about why you shouldn't try to bring order into the chaos. I'm back in my office. I had already a shower and I printed already my first image, and I'm really happy with this one. And when we look at it, we see that we have still a little bit of chaos up there. Here's still some distracting elements, these branches up there. And usually what we try to do is, when we take a photograph, well, let me give away this, it's fresh printed, I have to be careful here. What we try to do is, we try to bring order into the chaos, right? And to achieve this, we change the perspective and we can change the focal length as well. And this is exactly what I've done for the second shot. And when we look at it, we have still this one branch up there. Yeah, it was not 100% possible to get rid of it, but all in all, this is a much cleaner image. It is a really good photograph, but anyway, for me, the first one is much better. And now it gets interesting. Why? Well, when I came to this spot first time, I got attracted by this tree leaning over this dried brook bed. With the autumn colors on the tree, it looks a bit like it would dry out because there was no water in the brook. And finally, I wanted to get out a photograph what tells the story about that, a tree that is drying out. And this is the reason why the image title is Thirsty. But the thing is, this is not emphasized on the second shot. We see a mossy ground too, but it is simply not enough to make the image saying what it should say. The story of a thirsty tree. And when we look at the first image again, we can determine the brook bed. We see much better that there are so many leaves lying on the ground. It looks a bit like the tree would fade away due to the lack of water. And the fact that there are brown dry leaves lying on the ground, that place where usually water is floating, it is a fantastic connection. So I rather bring a little bit of more distracting elements in. I rather keep a little bit more of chaos, but I never want to cut my story. And this is why you should not try to bring order into the chaos. Think more about stories, and then when you're clear about your story, you can try to bring a little bit more order into the chaos, but not too much. Don't cut your story. But this doesn't necessarily mean that you should always take in more of your scene. Sometimes it is better to zoom in or to go closer, whatever is better for your story. So let's come to the second scene I photographed today. When I was walking there, this tree suddenly appeared to me like an angel, and we don't need all too much to emphasize this story. It is a portrait shot with surrounding elements to show that it is standing in a forest. The composition works. I really like this image. And what I haven't mentioned out in the field is that I took one more photograph, a second shot of this image, and this time I did the opposite of that from the first image. I zoomed out and brought more elements into my scene. Everything well placed. I brought order into the chaos, and this really works. The composition is fantastic. We get even more depth into the scene, but the thing is, to tell this story of an angel in the forest, we don't need these additional elements. I mean, I left this closed tree at the left-hand side as it brings depth in our composition. Also, the deadwood at the right-hand side is just fantastic, but we don't need this for our story. So in this case, the first image, the tighter drop if you want, is the stronger one. Finally, we should see that there is not really a right or wrong. Both versions work, both compositions are even great. Same as with Thirsty, by the way. The Crying Out Tree. It only depends on the story you want to tell. And this is finally how we bring photography to art. And if you're interested about bringing your photography to art, watch this video here. This will really help you. If you like this video, give me a thumb up. Thank you so much for watching. See you next Saturday. Bye.